Dave on Twitch.
Hello.
There's no picture because the topic is not active at the minute. Um, so, well, we're live now, as per usual. If anyone's watching, I'm going to send out the usual channel promotions that I do that Twitch is live to everyone that I always do. Now, we're back. First topic of the day, Jax. What you want to talk about Pokemon? So we could talk about Pokemon. I don't have a pitch for this, so this wasn't one of the planned actual topics. So So it's going to be blank. It's going to be a blank picture.
Fair enough. Well, no, so I recently got the newest Pokemon game, Pokemon Legends ZA. I'm a bit of a fan. And I've got to say, it's got a few. It's very different from previous ones. It's the first time where we do live action in real time battles and not turn based. So there's a bit of an oddity to it. But I from playing it, I kind of realised why Nintendo had gone on a big freak out with their plants, and especially against Power World. I mean, no, you've not got guns and you're not going around killing your monsters or anything like that. But the new live action aspect, the sort of live play aspect of it and the open world aspect of it, which has been there from previous games, because of the now real time battling, just has this feel about it that when Power World come out,
yeah,
the guys at Nintendo looked at it and went, "Oh, you're joking me." And so because I've not been a big player of Power World. I've only played like about an hour of it in total. And it's not like there's any building mechanics in Pokemon or that survivalist aspect. But yeah, certain elements of it, the way that certain things are done, I was like, and the way that your Pokemon follow you around in this, I was like, oh yeah, I can see why they weren't happy. Not that I'm saying that they're right by any means, but yeah, I could definitely see why they weren't happy.
Wow. On that subject, can I say the one really good news that's come out of Japan in the last few days?
Of course. Go ahead.
The fact that Japan has rejected Nintendo's Capture the Monsters pattern.
Like I say, all of this stuff with the
so
patterns they've been putting out.
It makes me so happy to see that they have rejected that pattern. Legitimately makes me happy. Because, don't get me wrong, I have nothing at the minute but disdain for Nintendo. Game Freak, the Pokemon company, I have no issues with them mostly because even they called out Nintendo for being fucking insane about this. Right? Like, even they called out Nintendo for the bullshit they've been doing at the minute and going, this is a little bit weird and wrong.
Well, I mean, so like I say, I looked over some of the patterns they've gone for, both in the US and elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I have been confused by a number of them, and a lot of the fact that some of them weren't just automatically dismissed. The monster capturing thing and the way that they described it and things like that, I can understand why there might be a bit of a hang up for it because it is what Pokemon is known for. It is kind of the thing. But it wouldn't take long research-wise to know that it's not the first. But like I said, it doesn't matter if it's not the first. It's certain mechanics that they're talking about. But even then, it was going to, in my opinion, and I'm not a legal expert on any of this at all, but it seemed 50-50. It was things like light guns in games that I was very confused by, because now this kind of needs to be a distinction, because they were not the first for a light gun. There is argument to some territories that they were the first home console with a light gun, which is interesting that they would try and go for that right now. Because the Mega Drive or the Genesis, depending which territory, did come with a light gun. That came a bit later, I believe. but there were Amiga clone type consoles out there that I believe did have light guns before Nintendo's one, but don't quote me on that. But most of it was arcade based, and they weren't going against arcades. But what is interesting about the timing is there is a company on Kickstarter that has worked out a way of making light gun games playable on flat HD TVs. That's why you don't have them anymore. It's not because they're not popular; they're incredibly popular. But you can't. The difference between CRT TVs and how they work and how HD TVs work meant light gun games were pretty much impossible to replicate cheaply and easily at home nowadays. These companies worked it out, and they're saying they're getting ready to sell their stuff to the market. And if Nintendo has found a way of kind of doing the same thing vis-a-vis the way that they did it on the Wii, which was to add that extra sensor bar, and even then it was a bit clunky. Be very interesting to see if they get that, because that could be who they're going after.
Well, it'll be an even right now, of, unfortunately, in this case, out Nintendo.
I mean, right now, if you actually have a Switch, by the way, if you have a Switch,
I have a Switch.
With all the I'm talking to the wider audience. With all the great sensors and stuff in it, and all the advances that it has, you'd think it'd actually be a great console for using light gun technology, either as a handheld unit or on your screen. And there is actually a light gun game for you, a House of the Dead remake.
That's good. Unlike the second one.
Here's the problem. To aim, it's not a light gun. You actually have to move the reticle round with the cursor, then hold a button to stop it from moving, and fire, then release. It is just bonkers. So Nintendo haven't really worked it out with not their newest console, but their previous newest console. And I don't think their newest console has worked it out yet. So it's interesting on that lawsuit.
Well, it's not lawsuit yet. They patented it, and we don't know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, we'll patent it with it. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anyone does decide to fight against that. Because I'm wondering if they've just got it to try and scare off people that haven't got enough money. They think haven't got enough money to fight against Nintendo. But we'll see.
I am trying something at the minute.
The fun one is going to be, I believe they've also put in a one to do with cartoon style or anime style kart racing.
Don't worry, everybody. Jax has just disappeared temporarily.
Hello. I'm still here vocally.
Oh, and no, I was talking about your image. I have managed to make it so that I can now have a background behind you when you talk, behind one of us when we're talking, which makes it might make it easy for people to see who's talking. But I have to do it manually, so it requires me to monitor when one of us is talking.
Well, good. I'm going to overtalk every now and again and just spark myself in. Yeah. But yeah, that weren't even an English word. Anywho.
Never is.
Yeah, so like I say, it's interesting, especially like, so the kart one I think that was out there. I don't know if that was true or not. I didn't really investigate fast into it, but I was just thinking, no. I know, once again, it's such a hard thing to try and patent, especially with the fact that over the years since they released the first game, they've never tried to argue against tons of others.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the best icon character karting games out there ever was Diddy Kong Racing by Rare, which Nintendo put on their console. So it would be difficult for them to argue that it's not already something that's prolific in and has historical use in other places. You know.
But well, in all honesty, in regards to everything, though, in the whole honesty with the Nintendo shit at the minute is, Like my main issue with Nintendo is I don't this patent shit that they're doing right now, trying basically is threatening the entire industry, and it's going to get them. What they don't seem to get is it will piss off probably the wrong company that's actually bigger than Nintendo, who will just slap them down because they're like, oh yeah, we can go for all these indie devs. It's like, yeah. The problem is some of these patents you're trying to patent infringe on this company here and that company there. That, by the way, Nintendo are 4 times the size of you.
Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago they might have got away with this, but so many companies now have been amalgamated into other companies.
Yeah.
There's very and
Well,
it,
Sony was
you
after
know,
Sony was after Palworld and Tencent. The guys, the Pal devs, like the Palworld devs. Sony was actually trying to acquire them, and that's when Nintendo got involved because Sony was trying to get it Palworld as because I think what it essentially is Nintendo knows that if Palworld gets like say the backing of a bigger publisher, like one that's as big as they are, example Sony or Microsoft, that's a competitor to Pokemon that Nintendo means Nintendo's going to have to actually put effort into some of their games. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Pokemon. I've always loved Pokemon. Pokemon is not like I'm not going to go and trash on Legends ZA. I haven't played it, so I have no opinion on the game. That's my exact response to it. I have no opinion on the game, because I've never played the game. Right? Yeah.
yeah,
Like, so I don't go it's shit or it's good. I just know. All I know is it's being reported as being bad by quite a lot of people because, unfortunately, it's like a step down from Legends Arceus from a lot of the people that have reported on it, and that's kind of sad that it's a step down
I
from Legends
completely
Arceus.
understand where they're coming from in that aspect. To be honest. So one of the big step downs is, in all honesty, is that
Mm-hmm.
Legends Arceus was a very good open world game. In the way you could utilize your Pokemon to move around the environment, the
Mm-hmm.
actual environment itself, the idea of scale amongst the things that you were
Mm-hmm.
capturing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the later games, in the other games, the mainline games, that mechanic didn't work as well in the way that they expanded it. The greater world that you explored to catch Pokemon became very glitchy very early on. Fixed it perfectly, in my opinion, towards the end, but that was something with the mainline games. The Legends series is a side franchise. It's the stuff that tells the lore in between a lot of the things.
Yeah.
And yeah, so unfortunately in this series so far, unless changes with DLC, instead of having the traditional place of cities or towns interconnected by these wild spaces that you would travel through in the same way you would in all of the previous games, this one is just set in a big city. And instead of big wild wastelands to explore, you've got little parks to explore if you want to go Pokemon hunting, or you can catch some in the city yourself. But the wildlands in this are little park areas within a big city.
Oh yeah.
So yes, I completely understand why people say that this is a downgrade. And the other big changes, and this is the biggest change in Pokemon franchise in a decade. And to be fair, that was when they allowed free roam like this. Like that was the 3D style era. This era is now everything is real time battling. So, for example, like now instead of taking turns, you put your attacks. If the attack is a quick attack, not only does it charge faster, it means it will come in faster than the other person attack. So you could technically get, if you've got 2 really fast attacks on your list with a fast recharge, you could get 2 attacks in before the other player can get one in.
Isn't it? From what I've seen, the attack sequence it's basically a square, isn't it? You press like 4.
Right, so each Pokemon has up to 4 attacks.
Yeah, as per normal. As per every other Pokemon game, it's 4 attacks. Yeah. But everything's in real time. I think I've watched some gameplay on it, and I just was looking at the battle and went, this doesn't look fun. This looks like it's not as. This doesn't look as fun as the Pokemon games, like the turn-based Pokemon games, if you get what I mean. Like they
Yeah.
are
So
legitimately like
what they've tried to do here, and I respect it, is they've tried to make it more like the anime, so you can have these just calling out different attacks all over the shop, and they're coming out in combos and stuff. And I get that. I like the recharge option over the PP option, which is you get hyper beam. You get 5 of them until you go to a Pokemon Center or something. Whereas in this now, you have infinite hyper beams, but it takes a long time for it to charge. So once you've done it, you then have to wait for the energy to charge back up on it before you can use it again, and it takes some time. Whereas quick attack and swift, by the time you've pressed it and done another attack, that's ready again.
yeah, I get what you mean. It's a
So yeah, you can be stuck. One thing I will that needs to be sorted out, which the old games had perfectly because you were locked in position. Because in this, you can move around, you can move yourself around to get a different attack angle, as well as avoid attacks. Because now you can get hurt in the attacks as well. You can actually lose sight of the Pokemon you're fighting, and then it stops, and then your Pokemon stops attacking.
Oh, that's just
no.
Jesus Christ. Even
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I kind of gonna just say, even with like games, other games that have similar mechanics where real time battles where you summon your party members or summon your like creatures to fight for you, even they have the mechanic of oh I lost track of the enemy because I made my camera. My creature still fights for me, and just has a rudimentary AI, and I'm like, what the hell?
Now, the thing is, once again, I like the kind of, in my opinion, what their idea is here. So so I was using a Gyarados, and someone was using a Pidgeotto, and it used quick attack, and it flew straight past, hit me, flew straight past me. Now it's behind me, but the problem is that now the idea is it can turn around and attack again. By the time my character has turned around to fight, I get that. I like it, and it's using all this space depending on who you are. But if my character can't see it and my thing locks off of it, I then can't do anything about it, even use protect. So I now have to reposition myself, then re-aim onto the thing I'm fighting, for my character then snap turn around and then do its attack. And it is a bit clunky, and that thing I think should just be locked in place, and the camera moves to keep everything in. And yeah, your Pokemon move around realistically. If my character's meant to turn around slowly after attack, I let it turn around slowly. Don't just let it go, huh? And then disappear.
Oh yeah, wow.
It's so annoying. I think that's something they're going to change, hopefully. But yes, there are definitely, for old school fans, this has been a bit of a weird schism. But then so was the previous one.
Well, it's just it's in all honesty, it is legitimately one of those things, in it. It's just there's going to always be people that don't like the new style of game. Example, biggest series. I'll give an example for myself personally. Series I played that came out, the last game came out 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Vampires: The Masquerade Bloodlines, okay? Because I've got the new one. I played the new one. I finished it. This is without any spoilers, okay? First game, amazing RPG, really captures the essence and the spirit of Vampires: The Masquerade. Like, the whole RPG captures it. The new one, yeah, you've got the world right. You've captured the spirit of the world. But your RPG, because you've made it like an action game with like really light RPG mechanics, I played through it. I finished it once. I then uninstalled it, and I'm like, I don't actually feel like playing through this again as a different clan. Whereas in the first game, I have played that game through as a Malkavian, as a Tremere, as a Torador, as like each of the different clans that you can play in the game, because each clan has their own way of speaking in the game. Like if you're a Malkavian, because Malkavian's whole thing is like they're all touched with like a tinge of madness and stuff. It's like they're basically you're a little bit insane. All of this dialogue, you have no fucking clue what you're saying. Like in the game, you don't. Like It shows you exactly what your character says, and like one of the lines is, "I slapped him with a fish, and then he exploded," and it's like, what? I don't understand what the fuck are you even meaning. Like, but in the new one, the Bloodlines 2, it's the dialogue's kind of meh. It's not very like a lot of options, and but yeah, like it's going from one game to another. It's like different. It's like Dawn of War 1 to Dawn of War 2. Dawn of War 1 is an RTS. Dawn of War 2 is a real time tactics game. But I can get why people get annoyed with
Fallout 2 and 3. Fallout 2 and 3. All of the Fallouts up until that were
top-down, turn-based strategies. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you was like first-person shooter. It's like, what the fuck happened?
It's because that's something Bethesda knows how to make. I mean, Starfield is just Fallout in space. I'm not going to lie. That's all it is.
The thing is, and the same with Skyrim. They have now got pretty much all three main fantasy lines just dotted up in a bow. They've done fantastically. BioWare did exactly the same thing with Mass Effect and Dragon Age.
Veilguard literally just... Veilguard feels like Veilguard, as a fan, person who loves Mass Effect and played Mass Effect like 1, 2, and 3 like to death, and I bought the Legendary Edition when it came out, Veilguard literally does, I will admit, feels like I'm playing what is that BioWare just went, okay, we know what works, everyone likes our Mass Effect games, we're going to make Dragon Age like Mass Effect. That's what they did. They made Dragon Age like a Mass Effect game.
Okay, we've got a question here. What is Veilguard?
Dragon Age Veilguard, it came out last year, was it, Jax?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I went on a 3-week rant of this game is not bad because I absolutely loved it and I was so pissed off at it's woke, it's a woke game, it's totally woke and it's shit because I'm non-binary because it's got a non-binary character and like you took an entire scene out of context that's 3 quests out of 10 for one character.
That's a long way around of saying Vanguard is a video game.
Video game, yeah. We're discussing like game series that were like Legends EA. I was discussing other game series like Legends EA that changed fundamentally between the original and like a sequel. For example, the first game I was talking about was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 1, which is a RPG game, first-person RPG, similar vein to Morrowind. It's like the actual RPG system translated to a PC game, and then Bloodlines 2 is an action game with RPG elements, and that's it.
So Miss Kate, right? Yeah. So if you've played Mass Effect, you kind of know what we're talking about here. Dragon Age is basically Mass Effect, but for fantasy. Yeah. So you've got dragons and wizards and sorcerers. Bethesda have done the same thing. They have Skyrim, and then their post-apocalyptic future series is Fallout. Basically, they're the same mechanics. And then there is their space science fiction version, which is Starfield. And in their most condensed form, they're the same game.
Yeah.
But with different mechanics to achieve whichever genre they're in.
Yeah, what is it? Skyrim has as well. Let's see, for example, Elder Scrolls V has the shout system. Skyrim, Fallout has the VAT system, and Starfield is the whole the Starborn system, the Starborn powers. That's like their unique thing that differentiates the three of them. Let's be honest.
Well, Elder Scrolls, it really depends on what the game is you're playing that determines what your special ability is. If you get what I mean, because shouts is very much a unique thing to Skyrim and not the rest of the Elder Scrolls in general. But yeah, I mean, those unique ability things, you always get something in the Elder Scrolls game. When you join a clan, or not clan, a race, you always get a special power if you double click it all and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's
but
what I say is that but like it is a thing with like its sequels. Like for example, I made the example of Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War 1 versus Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War 2. Dawn of War 1, base building, Command and Conquer style, general style, like RTS game. You build a base, everything. Right.
Yeah.
And then Dawn of War 2, you have a single base. Your guys can now retreat. It's a bit more like Company Heroes. You have a single base building. You're capturing points on the map like you were on the first game to get resources. But your now goal is to capture, is like now in multiplayer, it's back and forth to capture victory points rather than capturing, like, rather than wiping your opponent out like a normal RTS, because both of you only have a single base building. You have a lot smaller of an army, and your troops matter more because they level up as the match goes on, and the veteran troops do more damage and have bonuses during the match, whereas, new troops don't. So it encourages you to keep, and vehicles have armor facing everything, whereas in the first game they didn't, because the first game was very much that, Command and Conquer arcadey style first person shooter. You know what I mean? And it's like a fundamental difference. Like, it's one of those things where you go from like playing a previous game in the series like Fallout 2 to then playing Fallout 3, and you're like, why am I in first person and where's my turn-based combat gone? Or, for example, another example, Baldur's Gate 2 to Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 2 is a real-time tactics game where you play everything in real time. Baldur's Gate 3 is a turn-based strategy game. Like, they are amazing games. Every single Baldur's Gate game is awesome, but it is legitimately one of those, like, it's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, Legends EA is going to rub people wrong because they've fundamentally changed the formula for how Pokemon is. But the problem I have with it, from like the videos I've seen and the stuff I've seen of it, is like I can't say whether the game itself is overall is bad or good because I've not played it. I won't play it because I refuse to buy I refuse to give Nintendo money for it at the minute for anything. For it at the moment, but it's a worse battle system than games that have done the same thing and come before it, and therein lies my issue. How have they gotten it worse than games that I've played that do the same mechanic that came out 10 years ago?
I mean, to be fair, the actual capture mechanic on all of them have always been pretty fun.
Oh yeah, the capture mechanics are
always
always amazing. They've never done a bad capture mechanic. Like, legitimately.
That's not true. That's not true. The Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, actually throwing your Pokeball using your
excuse me,
duck was just the worst. Joy-Con, that's the word I'm looking for. That just wound me up so rotten. And not just because of that. To be fair, it's the fact that it's such an aberration out of all of the sort of main console games. As if you're a lore fan, it breaks a lot of lore.
Well, for me, I play Pokemon to catch the cute tiny monsters and have a Charizard. That's basically why I play Pokemon. I want a Charizard.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. You can get a Charizard in most of them.
Charizard is my favorite Pokemon, but it's like, but a cat, as some people have also probably may have missed. We got missed the amazing news that's come out of Japan today. Just I'm going to say it pretty soon because I am not going to drop the fact that this has happened. I am so happy that Japan has actually got. Japan is the one with the backbone, not America.
Like I said before, I don't think it's not down to having a backbone. I think it's just down the way that the law
works in Japan is different to the way the laws work in America. The fact that Japan went, sorry, are you trying to patent summoning capturing creatures in your video game, Nintendo? Yeah, we are. Yeah, get to fuck. just get to fuck. No, you're not having the patent. But Pokemon, no, it's gone. You don't get the patent in Japan. Fuck off. The only way you're getting this patent is if you can challenge all these other companies that you've let slide for the last 10, 15 years that have done the exact same mechanics as your Pokemon game for capturing creatures, and you've left them alone. You don't get to pick and choose the battle. You lose the patent.
That's kind of the problem. I mean, that's how
Palworld has essentially just one part of their lawsuit against Nintendo. Because Nintendo's patent for capturing creatures in a video game, capture mechanics, has been thrown out in the Japanese court. they threw it out and went, "No, you don't get this patent."
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think they're just trying to get it where they can in places to more prevent people from trying to start stuff out early on, out of the fear of having to go through a legal case against someone like Nintendo and not realizing that actually the patent wouldn't stand up in court anyway. But it's actually having enough money to go to court.
Well,
So
the thing is with Power World, if you've not seen what Power World's been doing, Power World continues to do, Power World just trolls Nintendo repeatedly. They actually don't. They know they're going to win the lawsuit at this. They know they have the money, the backing and the money to fight this lawsuit. They aren't bothered anymore. They've been like, because Power World sold like hotcakes, gave them enough money. Their new game is already like got like loads of wish lists and potential sales already. People are excited for the new games they're making set in the same universe. Like, they're making a franchise off this game, and it's kind of hilarious because Nintendo's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I thought we lost you. It's like, and Pocket Pair and Power World are just like, "Here's our next game and our other game. Here's a dating sim, and here's a Stardew Valley style game of with pals. Have fun. We're making these sort of games. We're going to make this a whole universe." And
yeah,
I love Power World. It's one of those games that I can play for hours because it's just fun to play. Like, because, and also I don't even know why Nintendo's so pissed because it's not even a Pokemon style game. The only similarity between Pokemon and Power World, right, legitimately, is like the fact that in both games you capture creatures, and have them battle occasionally, right? But
yeah.
at its core, like fundamentally, Power World has nothing to do with Pokemon at all in like the mechanics, the way the game plays. It is an Ark clone. It is an Ark
Yes.
Survival Evolved clone. It is not a Pokemon game. It doesn't compete with Pokemon. That's what's funny. It's not
Well,
even.
the only thing that they actually won so far, to my knowledge, against Power World was the shape of the orb in which you capture characters.
No, no,
So now
it
they
wasn't.
just use a
No, it was the
tube.
ability to throw the only thing that they've not won anything against Power World. What Power World has done deliberately, what Pocket Pair have done, is
Yeah,
they took out the ability to use like certain pals as a glider, right, and made it
yeah,
so that those pals give you a bonus for now. They then had to, as part of the capture creature thing, had to while the lawsuit was ongoing, they took out the animation for throwing the ball for the pal to come out of it. Instead, you just release the pal. The pal just appears next to you instead. You still throw it to capture things, which is kind of funny because that Nintendo's now lost that pattern in Japan. The whole throwing a ball to capture stuff, Nintendo lost the pattern in Japan. It's been thrown out, which means that's the one that got thrown out. So it's basically Pocket Pair are fully in their rights to say you can't stop us. You can turn around and re-add the throwing it to spawn them now, because that's part of that pattern for capturing creatures that Nintendo had that got thrown out. That's why they took the stuff they took out. They took it out in a way that they could add it back in easily if they win the lawsuit, and also that Nintendo can't. Even if Nintendo does technically win the lawsuit, the stuff they've taken out means they're no longer the patents don't matter to them and them holding the game. Nintendo can't take the game off sale. They just have to pay damages because they've taken it out and gone, this mechanic's not in our game anymore. So where are we infringing on you? Because it's not in our game. So because that patent's got thrown out, it means Nintendo at this point actually they could add the throwing the PAL back out into the game because it's been thrown out in Japan. Because they took some of the stuff out to basically help them with the lawsuit. The Nintendo hasn't won any part of the lawsuit yet. It's still ongoing. They couldn't copyright. They couldn't do it on the shape of creatures because creatures in Pal World they can't because there's no creatures that are like exactly the same. You can't like Lucario is just Anubis from fucking Egyptian mythology, and Anubis is just Anubis. But so they can't do it. So yeah, it's one of those things with Pal World is at the minute there's nothing but. Shall we talk about the weird show you made me watch yesterday, Jax? I think Jax has died again. Unfortunately, his microphone has gone off. So we talk about Jax wanted me to watch a weird show yesterday. Fucking weird as hell show by someone called Mr. Friend, called The Moon Wakes Up, and now I'm like, what the fuck have I watched? What is this show? It's just the moon grows a face, does a little spin, and then crashes into the earth. And it's so fucking weird. Bye-bye. And all that's been stuck in my head ever since I watched this show is bye-bye, Moon Man. Yeah. It's called The Moon Wakes Up. It's on YouTube. Go watch it. Just trust me. After this podcast, watch it. You will like it. You will watch it and you will like it, Kat.
There we go. Right. Yes, I'm back. Sorry, technical difficulties with microphones. It's a show called The Moon Awakes.
The moon woke up. It's called
The Moon Woke Up. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'll get it mixed up with something else. But it is an alternate history of what happens when after Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin land on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's from Mr. Friend. They have done some horror stuff in the past.
Yeah, it's just this bullshit. That scene, just the opening scene when they're like, it's Apollo 13's going to the moon, the doomed moon flight.
Yeah.
Is going to the moon, and the moon, like, we're just observing the moon, and what the fuck is happening? And then it's just like it grows eyes, and then grows a mouth, and it's just like, the moon has, Houston, we have a problem. The moon has woke up. The moon has woken up. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it does a little spin, and then it fucking crashes into the fucking planet.
Yeah, so it smashes into Earth.
It's just, what the fuck is this thing?
My favourite one, though, is... So this story does go on. So that's the first episode. The next episode is talking about the amount of damage that has happened over Earth since the moon's landed, all the people that have died. Also shows some weird clips from from before the moon hit, and it seems that certain people knew that this was going to happen, that there's been prophecies of some sort of weird lunar event. And then, each time we come back, it's an amount of time in the future, and shows how Earth is being changed with the effects of having the moon stuck inside it. But then Jupiter, Neptune, and Uranus
all wake
up with the faces. They're now looming over us every single day. Until one day, I think this is my favourite episode, until one day when portals open up and giant hands come out of the portals, pick the planets up, and there's just one astronaut going, Houston, there's something out here bigger than Jupiter.
I know, there's something out here bigger than Saturn. Because Saturn's bigger than Jupiter. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it just picks it up like it's a marble and pulls it away.
It's just so weird. It's so like, the thing is, it's so weird, and I'm like, I've seen his shit before. I've seen his old stuff, and he's brilliant at what he does. But the best bit is
the humor's spot on as well.
Oh yeah, the humor is definitely spot on. It's good old. You can tell this guy's British. It's good old. It's British humor. Because he's English. He's English. You can tell he's fucking English because it's, he's just, it is British humor on the.
It's the way he takes the mick out of the little orphan kid that says British humour.
Oh yeah, the orphan kid. Oh look, in the merch video.
Little Timmy.
The merch video is so funny. That kid's like, but sir, I've not got any parents. What? No parents? No money? Next time, bring me someone who's less annoying. Just like...
I don't know, something, get me someone that's a little more grateful.
Oh, God.
And yeah, so I've definitely caused other people to watch this. I showed one person at work the merch episode, and then the next day I walked in and it was on 3 different computers. I have ordered a T-shirt from the guy's merch store, which is Uranus
Is it the Uranus one?
is going to eat me.
Uranus is going to eat me. It's just like
Um,
these. It's like buy the merch or the moon will eat you.
Yeah.
It's just the fucking.
It's so
It's
funny,
so
and
weird.
I'm dying for the next episode.
Is that I episode 8? I messed up a little bit, and I was doing something, and when episode 8 came on, I got distracted, and I jumped in halfway through when the giant fucking moon man was
Yeah.
at the wall, and I'm like, how the fuck is there a giant one? And I rewind,
Where
and
did you
it
get
jumps.
this?
The moon turns its fucking head around and its face and opens up out of it.
Yeah.
The fucking
The moon swarm was definitely something I thought was pretty cool as a concept.
the big like giant.
When Neptune just fires out a ton of moons out of its mouth.
Oh, not Neptune. It's the moon swarm's the tentacled creature that they find that is eating that other planet.
He fires one out. The moon swarm is when they're chasing after Neptune through the portal, and it through the space sphere. He turns around, fires hundreds of moons out of his mouth. They then disappear back out the portal, and that's when they first meet the tentacle alien, who is creating the moon around another planet. That ends up being an awoken moon being put back to sleep. Because the end of that episode then takes us back in time to a caveman on Earth hunting mammoth.
Yeah.
And
then the real moon gets destroyed.
And our moon gets destroyed, and a tentacle monster spits out a new.
Well, it's not when they're chasing Neptune or something. It's Neptune starts chasing them. They then come out of the rift. Neptune then gets eaten by the encephalopod, and then it's when they're chasing the giant cephalopod creature. It's quite literally, while chasing it, it just turns around and spits out a fucking swarm of moons. Like, what the hell?
Well, either way, I know the scene after that is when they're because they're stuck between Neptune and the tentacle monster.
The American, he didn't make it. Well, it serves him right. The fucking Russian guy. I love the fact that you can tell it's the same four people doing the voices for every single character, though. Yeah. And I love it because it's like we're not even going to hide the fact that there's just 4 of us doing the voices: a Scottish guy, an English guy, a Russian dude, and an American. We're not hiding this.
The other thing about that, though, that scene when they're in space is where the guy is just constantly talking about being part of the repopulation group. I'm going to be in the repopulation group. When he's just about that, don't let go of me. I want to be in the repopulation group.
It's so fucking weird, this show. It's just, I was like, I'll watch this. I'll see what this is about. And then I was like, I was hooked. I started watching episode 1 and I was like, and then before I knew it, I'd finished it. I was like, what the hell?
It's not. To be fair, it's not long.
No, it's not. It's short enough that you don't go on board of this, but it's long enough and it's like very well presented enough just to get you like hooked and catchy on it. Like, actually, I want to find out what happens next and this.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but I without spoiling anything, it is worth a watch. I'd recommend watching it, but. I'm going to move on to our second topic because this is a Halloween special. I want to talk about one of my favourite genres of movies. The horror one. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a better pitch with a load of better horror movies, so unfortunately it's a bunch of old modern horrors. The only good film on there is It. And Cult of Chucky. Because we don't talk about Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers was awesome.
Jeepers Creepers, the franchise, really good movies. The guy who directed those movies definitely deserves to be in prison like he is, and should stay there for the rest of his life. and never be let
100%.
out because he's a
But
fucking
still,
pedophile bastard.
yeah, but still,
But
really good films.
good films, but
I would argue. I
yeah,
mean, all of the Conjuring series have all been very good in my opinion.
never watched them.
Uh, oh yeah,
I didn't get into them. I'll be honest.
I actually no, I actually did. I've just seen the last one, and mostly because I actually have been to a few of the actual places that the Warrens went to on their whole big thing, and it is about the Warrens. Are very interesting. The Warrens as a couple and as a people.
But do you want to know the horror
Yeah,
movie that we need to best horror movie though franchise?
go ahead.
Best horror franchise is quite literally just next to The Nun. It is It. I love It. I love the original with Tim Curry. I love the fucking remake with Mr. Skarsgård, and fucking I love that franchise. Like it's the book. I love the book up until a certain scene. Anyone who has read the book knows which scene I'm on about.
Yeah,
Which is a weird scene. We don't want to discuss it. I'm not, but I'm glad that every film, every like TV adaptation, has taken that scene out.
well, there is a great line in epic epic rap battles of history between the Joker and Pennywise, in which he says she should have been a little bit more PG and a little less preteen.
No, it's a little more PG and a little less 13.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because in the so for context, Cat, in Stephen King's It, the book, okay, the way that the Loser Club gets that second half of the film in it, the second half of that movie where they all go after Pennywise and they go after him, is not by we're confident and all that and the way they do it in the films. It's by having a fucking child sex orgy.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, Stephen King was
high as a fucking kite.
Yeah, there was a lot of cocaine in that book.
Yeah, literally the beginning of that entire scene where they get where the losers get all their like confident is Beth goes stripping off, and it's like, what the fuck did I read? And what the hell is this?
The books are all very different than the film adaptations.
Yeah, Stephen King isn't exactly problematic himself. He used to be very much addicted to cocaine, and it made him write a load of fucking weird ass shit.
It's very true. Cocaine. But he does have a fascinating brain. The actual names of the books right now, I can't remember. I have read them, and I have cheap copies around somewhere.
Are you on about the Dark Tower?
No. This is something that was genius. So he actually had two pen names. He wrote as Stephen King, his horror books, and then for his sci-fi books, things like Running Man, which was made into a film with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And there's a new film coming out.
I know. He wrote
I can't wait to watch it.
He wrote under the name of Richard Batcherman. And then one day, two books came out. One was a story by Stephen King about a detective going after a serial killer. And one was about Richard Batcherman, about a serial killer keeping away from a detective. It's the same story told from the different perspectives of the hunter and the hunted. It is genius. Pure genius.
Can I just point out, by the way, on this movie poster thing that I have this like poster image I found of movie posters, right? There is a movie on there that does not exist. There's probably quite a few of them that don't. And The Stand is a good book. The Stand is a really good book.
It's a very good book.
But it is, and I'll tell you this: it is next to Slender Man and The Conjuring 3, Terminator versus the Predator.
Oh yeah.
There's no movie for that yet. I would love to see that comic brought to life because that comic is fucking awesome. I love the Alien vs Predator vs Terminator comic because we get to see a T-800 rip a xenomorph apart, and it's like yes. But yeah, Halloween's a good franchise. Next, Halloween is an amazing franchise. That is the Halloween movie that came back. That's Halloween Returns.
Yeah.
That is Halloween Returns. That's Halloween Returns. That's the film that came out with Jamie Lee Curtis. That's the reboot of the Michael Myers franchise when they finally brought it back. I love that film. I love Michael Myers. Michael Myers is just terrifying. I also love the fucking reason. The whole reason he looks the way he does is that they just had an old William Shatner mask lying around. It's William fucking Shatner's face.
So it's a William Shatner Captain Kirk rubber mask.
Yeah.
And inside out with the eye holes cut a bit bigger.
I love it. It's such it's so dumb, but it's so brilliant.
Yeah. And Shatner was really pissed that he doesn't get any money for it. It's quite funny.
Doesn't deserve any money. He's got enough money to play fucking.
What I did find funny, and I heard this recently on an interview with Jamie Lee Curtis, is that when she was given a chance to watch a private showing of the original film, she had to watch it with a security guard and other security because the studio was worried that she would pirate the film or sell it to people. She's like, it's my own damn film. Why would I do that? I get money from it. Why would I? Anyway, yeah, apparently she was watching it, but all she could really pay attention to was the security guard in the back heaving up.
What I do love is there's a franchise I absolutely adore, and it's Scream. I love the Scream movies. Have you seen the trailer for Scream 7?
They didn't cut the sideburns off. They actually turned the entire mask inside out, so it was just the flesh color. There was no paint, and then they did extra stuff to it after that. So they didn't actually cut anything off. They just she flipped it inside out.
But yeah, the trailer for Scream 7 came out today, and oh my god! By the way, I am genuinely in love with with it. I'm like, please, for the love of God, please finally be bringing back a certain actor because, you know, he didn't die in the original, and I'm like,
so you haven't? Oh, okay, I don't want to spoil shit because something did happen at New York Comic Con that kind of has.
Well, no, we know that he's on the casting role. So it's just whether or not he's on the casting role as what one theory people have is the killer is using AI to spoof the voices of all past killers, or is it actually Stu's back?
Well, so here's the thing. Here's something he had said a long time ago,
He would love to do it. Matthew Lillard is awesome.
Video.
I love Matthew Lillard.
Is that every kind of way he could have died in that situation with the TV doesn't actually affect him because it doesn't actually directly slam down on him. It hits the thing first, so its momentum is slowed, so he could have survived that. The electrocution wouldn't have affected him because of the way CRTVs were made, their glass had lead in them. So electric wouldn't go forward through the glass, it would go out through the back. So he wouldn't have got electrocuted. So in fact, crushing damage and electrocution damage don't affect him.
No, they do not.
So yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen the first Scream movie, where I don't mean to be the
I've watched every Scream movie,
and I'm talking to Miss K. If you haven't seen,
well, they already said Stu, so they've seen the first one. It's very been heavily hinted at as it's Stu, and I'm like, please, I want to see Matthew Lillard back as fucking Stu, just because I want to see him being in a role that he's not being like a silly goofy guy. He's being I'm a serial killer again.
But with the way that the stories have been going, and the fact that there's sort of been this kind of at least psychological reincarnation of
Hmm.
the other guy whose name I can't remember. Um,
Uh,
I'm
yeah, no.
wondering if he's going to have been in some sort of witness protection or locked up or whatever.
No, so a lot of the thing is that Stu probably just got arrested at the end of the first film.
Yeah.
Because
But like I'm saying, so he's not going to have been around, and then he's finally He's come, like, seen this shit carrying on for decades.
what's wrong with
And
Monica's hair? Monica's hair's
he's
awesome.
either going to have been jealous as fuck that someone has been copying him, and he's like, this is what happens at the end of a franchise. The original comes back to take down the copycats. Or, and he's going to be sort of, so he's going to be almost like the dark hero sort of villain.
Well, no, the whole trailer,
Villain.
the trailer from it is essentially whoever this killer is knows Sydney, like legitimately knows Sydney and everything.
Yeah.
Knows Sydney and is mocking her from the very beginning of, you already know who I am. Straight up, are we getting the, yeah, is it? Are we getting Matthew Lillard back finally? And he's like, are we getting Stu back? And we're going to have, here's how we end the franchise. Stu's back, motherfucker.
Well, I mean,
it's like,
here's
oh
the
yeah,
thing.
here's
They've
the
been
end.
heavily hinting towards one of the sisters turning.
Right, Sydney. Well, the fun thing is, you watch the trailer. After
Yeah.
the trailer finishes, when it says the title, you hear like, this is like someone going, "This is going to be fun," not in the Ghostface voice, and I'm like, "That's Matthew Lillard's voice."
Yeah.
Oh
Like I
shit!
said, I think he's going
It's
to
like,
be. He is going to be a
it's
kid.
like,
This is just my opinion. The way that his character comes into it in the original and goes out, his big thing was it making thematical sense.
yeah.
He was the other film geek. So that's why I think for this, the way his character is going to come in, it's going to be as, I've just got out, I've been hunting down all the other people that have used me, my icon, and the original has now come back to clean house on everyone that's copycatted me. But on the other side of that, and that's why I think he's going to be Sydney's hero in this. He's going to be the one that saves her from whoever's doing the actual mass
the
killing
focus
throughout
of
the
whoever
rest
the
of it.
killer is after Sydney's kid.
Yeah, and that's it. And I don't think that's going to be. I don't think that's going to
But
be.
Gail's back, and that made me happy
Lily
because
Taylor.
Courtney Cox is back again. I love Courtney Cox. I love seeing her in shit. She's just,
Oh yeah,
I love seeing Monica in shit. I will never not call her Monica. I watch Friends far too much that she is Monica. She is Monica Bing to the rest of the rest of the world. But
I am wondering how pissed David Arquette is that he decided the last film was going to be his last film.
in the film, not the last film, it was the film before that one.
Was it really?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Dewey died in the first one they brought back.
You're right. He didn't make it to the second?
No,
No,
he died the
you're right.
first one. He was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do it. But to be fair, if he wanted to let the role go, he probably's not bothered. It's like he's happy for the franchise to succeed after him. He was like, nah, I'm happy. He was probably
Yeah,
him.
but they are getting good money every few years.
But it's brilliant. It's because Scream is legitimately, Scream is the OG franchise that was a horror movie that deconstructed horror movies itself. The only other film that, has, in my opinion, has ever done the deconstructing horror movies right properly, yeah.
Yep.
The only one that's ever done that properly, other than the Scream films, has been the film known as Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods did it perfect. They really did.
They deconstructed how you get like the monster horror movies, how you get to the point where everyone is the way they are, why people do such stupid fucking shit in these films. Like legitimately, that movie could explain every single horror movie that single horror. And
that's kind of the joke, yeah. It is, because
and who wrote the Cabin in the Woods, Jax?
It was Joss Whedon.
Yes, it was. It's like
it
the
was
one film he's really good. It was one film that he's like sad because he's the guy that now we all hate him and we don't want anything to do with Buffy anymore which is good. But Cabin in the Woods is just a fucking brilliant film. Also, the first time one of Chris Hemsworth's first roles, because it's before he became like the big star he is now. And just seeing Chris Hemsworth in that movie, and I'm like, your career, your career
So we're not going to spoil Cabin in the Woods because it hasn't been seen by a viewer on this case. So it's someone who's actually talking, so we'll leave it to him. But yeah, no, it is very good. It does, like I say, it tells every aspect of the monster horror franchise.
Yeah.
But with Scream, the thing people forget now, because it is so old. I mean, I was a very young teenager when the first one came. I mean, Scream 3 was my second DVD I owned. I had that and Blair Witch Project.
1996.
Yeah, so like
I watched it as a kid, so I watched it when I was about, I think, I was 3 when it came out. I watched it when I was about 10, so a few years after it came out.
Yeah, but what's really interesting though is that, kind of like what you said, they are revivalist film, and that's what they did. The kind of slasher horror in terms of Jason and Freddy and those kind of films that you kind of know of, the camp horrors. They had died out. They had become very cheesy. I mean,
well, it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that. It was when Scream came out. I think I can't remember who it said it is. That one of one of the horror guys who used to do horror films all the time. He just straight up said
Wes Craven, yeah.
Wes Craven straight up said it when he went, you can't do slashers anymore because of Scream, like the way that he used to, because Scream basically fundamentally came out, and it's that horror movie, that slasher horror movie, that changed the whole genre when it came out. So what
happened is they all became tropes, or they had to become tropes, or highly gory, hyper gore, like the Italian stuff.
Yeah.
Or they needed to become super spectacle, and that's what you had got with things like Freddy versus Jason and Friday the 13th in space. It's
do not remind me of Friday the 13th in space, Jax.
Yeah,
don't remind me of that.
These were all they had to be. It's the problem that Fast and the Furious have. It started off about gangsters in cars, or whatever they wanted to be in cars, doing crazy shit, and they had to escalate to the point where they're flying cars in space, and that's what was happening with the slasher genre. And then all of a sudden, this thing came out of the blue, and everyone, and the thing is that it had kind of this backing as well from the old guard, because that one of the early scenes in it, in the first film, Robert Englund or Freddy Krueger is the janitor, and everyone was like, so he's the killer, and he was just playing a janitor for 5 seconds. And they played on every single trope, they played on every single twist, and throughout the film they were telling you what these tropes and twists were.
Yeah.
By having these two guys that were big film buffs. And then they switch it. And it's that switch in a way that we'd seen 100 times before. It was genius. And then the same with the second film. Because the second film, if you actually watch it, is just Friday. It is the plot, many plot points from Friday the 13th, part 2. Because you're expecting it to be the person who it is, and it's not that person, it's the mum. It's so, and there's all the hints all the way through it that this is just, you've seen this before, you know what's coming, we're telling you who the killer is.
But yeah, well, speaking of Robert Englund and seeing him in movies that aren't Freddy Krueger, have you ever watched the Lake Placid series?
Yes.
The fact that when you get so far that there are 3 films in that franchise which has Robert Englund in it, and he somehow escapes being killed by the crocodiles in the most ridiculous, even though Like in the first time he does it, it's like Freddy's. He's like he's basically gets pulled off a boat by one. The second one, you see him at the end missing it, where after he's lost his arm, like a hand in the first one, and he's like literally in the at the water climbing out of it, and there's just a crocodile coming up behind him, and he's just laughing at it. And then in the third one, the same thing. He gets he doesn't die. A fucking crocodile and an anaconda, because it's the Lake Placid versus Anaconda one. And I'm like, how? It's like, yeah, we're not killing Freddy Krueger in this movie. We're not killing Robert Englund. And I'm like, what the hell? You've shown this franchise 3 times. Also, the fact that Ghibli is in that franchise as well because of the Anaconda franchise crossover.
Yes. That was actually the one I was just going to mention, is that they actually do have a crossover with Anaconda.
Yes, and then you get at the end. You get the end, the hint of the snake crocodiles. You know, snakes with crocodile heads.
I can't remember what franchise it was now, because it was like the 5th one. It was an early film with John Barrowman, in which they told him to say something funny before a kiss on a pullback shot. And he said the only thing he could think of was saying, "You like eating pussy." And that's actually caught on film. Him saying, "You like eating pussy." And the poor just burst out laughing.
Oh, fucking hell, John Barrowman is just stupid. Yes, that John Barrowman. There's only one John Barrowman in films.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like talking about it, it's like I love monster horror movies as well. Monster horror movies are brilliant. I love The Relic is one of my favorite like monster horrors.
The Relic is a great film, and it's a film that's very, very underrated, and hardly anyone's seen it. And here's the thing: is that when you start telling people things like, "Oh, by the way, it's got Ian McKellen in it," and then you watch it and they go, "Where's Ian McKellen?" You know the dude that looks really old and nothing like Ian McKellen. I see Ian McKellen as like a 20-something-year-old man that aged up.
I know, right?
Funny story about that is that in the script, it said he had a thick, specific accent. I can't remember what it was, if it's Slovakian or something. So he went to the country in particular, learned the accent, learned part of the language, got on set, and they went, No, we don't want that. What? So that's why his accent's really weird, because they made him change accents like on day of filming after telling him to learn something else, and he just makes this one up.
It's no, but you know the thing is, right, with Relic, the reason I love it is it's the whole thing of oh no, they found this like ancient relic. Oh no, this monster is this creature. It's this, oh god, this is horrible guardian of this relic, and this and like. And then the twist, when they find that twist, when they find a reveal, and I'm like, oh, that was fucking brilliant. But it's that scene.
Yeah.
It's the scene where it's chasing like the final girl, and then it's on fire, and I'm like, this just looks fucking badass. For like a split, when it gets on fire for a split second, it just looks fucking awesome. And I'm like, that scene is so good. Like the effects of that scene are so brilliant, and I'm like, we do not get horror movies like that effect that good, like with those practical effects. Like, don't get me wrong, I love CGI because we can now do monsters that we would never be able to do with practical effects. We could do all like the weird, gangly, like monsters that don't make any sense now, a little bit better.
Yeah,
but like that like Relic is brilliant for that. It's like have you ever seen the Uwe Boll? Uwe Boll makes fucking terrible movies of video games. Usually doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and doesn't follow the plot at all. You know what I mean? Like doesn't follow the plot at all of the game. Just throws it out and just uses the game world's premise as a. I haven't seen the movie with Larry, but it's like, but like, what's it called? He made Alone in the Dark 1, the first Alone in the Dark movie, right? It's actually a really good film, and the creature design in it, I've rewatched the original Alone in the Dark again, right? And I realised something with it. The design of like the Darkling in that film, the horror the monster, is the White Spike design in Tomorrow War.
Okay.
It's the same design. It's like a similar design to the White Spikes from Tomorrow War. And I'm like, but just like, but that film was made years earlier. It's like, okay, this is cool. But like, I liked that film because it was genuinely really good.
Well, I've always been a fan of The Thing.
Uh,
Now, not just, I mean, everyone knows the John Carpenter version of The Thing. It is
no, it isn't. Get out of here with that. No.
Is the de facto.
No,
it's
nope. I don't know. Before you say anything more, that is
I
a
will
lie,
I
and
definitely say it's a movie.
That is a lie, and you know it. No one in their right mind thinks that film is a good movie. It's Tom. Who the fuck cast Tom Cruise in a War of the Worlds movie? And
It was it was an interesting movie. Anyway,
no, the old one is amazing. The 2005 Steven Spielberg War of the Worlds film is shit. It's fucking shit. Because it fundamentally misses out as someone here who War of the Worlds is her favourite book, and no, you're not going to get me shut off a minute, Jack. I'm going to rant about this for the next 5 minutes. This is what happened.
Okay.
You've just said what happens. War of the Worlds
is my favourite. She's arguing with someone in the comments.
Yeah, among some of the comments. The War of the Worlds book is one of those books that is dearest to me. Like, there are 2 books that are like very dear to me, which are War of the Worlds and Alice in Wonderland. Those are my 2 favourite books, and I will die on that hill. And I hate the War of the Worlds 2005 movie. I hate most War of the Worlds movies for one reason and one reason only: the aliens are fucking invincible, and it pisses me off. Because in the book, they take them down with artillery, with 18th century artillery and a steamboat. But but it takes the amount of resources it takes to take one down outweighs the cost. And now back to horror movies.
Yeah, so the Thing, not just the John Carpenter version, which is everyone kind of knows. There have been other adaptations of the original novella, one being in the 50s, called The Thing from Another World, and it's all from the same source material as The Thing. But the interesting thing, the reason I actually like the original is not because it's superior in any way. The 50s version is superior in any way, really, to the others for better effects or casting, is that it does something in that which I haven't really seen done in anything else. Is that at one point they've got a panic. The monster is on the loose. It's they're just getting ready to do the blood test idea, like they do in the John Carpenter one. But you have 2 different groups of people arguing with each other at exactly the same time on screen with the camera panned out. So if you concentrate hard enough, you can hear parts of one group's argument, but not the whole thing. But you could never, if you're trying to just listen to it all, you could never get anything. And it is just the greatest bit of chaos. Which in that scene, if that is happening, would be chaos. And I've never seen another film do absolute mayhem like that.
I think The Thing is such a good franchise. It's such a good set of films. I'm going to admit this. The Thing is one of the few horror movies that genuinely used to scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because it is a film that I physically used to be able to watch because I was that scared of watching that film. Because the whole idea of something that becomes, like, a creature that is basically capable of mimicking someone else. You know what I mean? And it's it is a terrifying concept to me of something that can mimic other people.
I can't remember its name right now, by the way. Okay. But there is actually, and you've probably seen it yourself already, but there is actually a great prequel to the John Carpenter Thing movie about the people in that research station.
Oh, yeah, no, I've watched both movies
before Kurt Russell turned up. Yeah, and it actually does finish all the plot holes, like where the axe came from and where the extra shotgun came from. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. It's very good.
I will say that it's because I watched the thing when I was about 5 years old. So
Oh, I mean, when talking
so
about films as a kid,
I was
that you watch,
terrified of that movie until I think I was about 20. And then
like
it's like,
films,
yeah, this film's
certain
terrible.
films that I
Shit.
watched as a kid that terrified me, and then like
Well,
later on watching them, you're like, I don't understand why.
oh yeah.
The
Well,
Blob.
it's
I'm not,
like my fear of the dark from when I was younger
yeah,
came from watching a movie called They. It's just called They. It's literally about the what if the things you see in the dark were real, basically. And
yeah,
the idea is a bunch of people that were marked as kids by these things, but kind of like the Final Destination thing where someone saved them as kids from being taken by the creatures,
yeah.
essentially, and basically the creatures have returned to take them. As adults, as return, and it's them being hunted, and it's like this whole cycle, and it just terrified me of the dark when I was younger for so long. Like I just
That's
genuinely
understandable.
and I'm like now I'm like but I also
Yeah,
understand why, because it plays on that fear that we all have, that we all technically have. It's not you're afraid of the dark. You're afraid you're not alone in the dark. That's the thing that scares us. It's not a fear of the dark itself. It's a fear of not being alone in the dark, and it's genuinely like,
yeah.
yeah, this film played on that fear, and me as a kid was like, I need a nightlight on because I don't like the dark anymore.
Oh, I mean,
Uh,
what I find funny. I mean, like so. Yeah, like the one that got me as a kid was the movie The Blob, and I watched that as an adult, and it has no effect on me now. I mean,
it's a
like,
little bit
it's just
ridiculous, isn't it?
a little bit ridiculous. But then on the flip side of that, now as I've mentioned, I love my ghost horrors. Um, Paranormal Activity, I think, is a masterpiece. Especially that first film, the proper release of the first film as well, where you get the one of the best pieces of cinematography, well, CGI or whatever you want to call it, special effects, is where it's just film in a room, and it's so easy to miss. They just film in a room with the people asleep, and over the course of the night, the dust in the room has settled slowly, and as they speed up the camera, you can see it's highlighted a figure, and it's been standing in the room the whole time, and just the room dust has landed on it. And as they wake up, it disappears, and all the dust just drops. And that's when you first really notice it, is when all the dust drops, and then you rewind it back and you realise the whole time they've been showing it, it's been gathering up on this figure. It's genius.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I
Is it the
love that sort of thing.
Teletubbies? Is it the Teletubbies, Miss K? Is it the Teletubbies? Because they're terrifying.
The thing that really fucks me up as I watched it as a kid, and then I watched it again as an adult. I tried to, and I was like, nope, I'm noping out. Is the Poltergeist film franchise.
See, I love the Poltergeist
Specific,
franchise. I'm the opposite for me.
Specifically, the first film franchise. I've seen them all. I saw them all as a kid, and because I tried, but then the the first and second one in particular, freaked me the fuck out. Still can't rewatch them. But Poltergeist Legacy, the TV series, absolutely love that. One of the
Fair
best
enough.
things that have ever been created. But yeah, like the films to this day still fuck my brain.
To be fair, right? What is it? It's like I think the film franchise that I've watched, the film. So you asked about the Invisible Man, the new Invisible Man. I will say the difference between the original and the new one is the original is scary. It wasn't really scary to me as someone who's seen it. The new one is for me, but the new one's scary for a reason. For a specific reason, is that the way the things the guy does, like in it, is the stuff that is like it's stuff that you can see someone like who's controlling, who's abusive. It's because the way they portrayed the villain in the new one is straight up like an abusive partner, if you know what I mean.
Well, there's also kind of another reason. So, and there's also a reason why they put the idea of there being a brother there that might be able to do the same thing. Is that the fact that this was also part of what was left over from Warner Brothers' Dark Universe, which was them reintroducing all of their owned monsters and horror franchises back into one universe. So things like the Tom Cruise Mummy film was part of that. The Del Toro Wolfman film was part of that. And so is Invisible Man. There was going to be a Frankenstein. And at some point, there was going to be a Justice League type movie in which all the monsters were going to be released on some poor city, and their respective heroes would gather together to have to fight them. So Tom Cruise and whoever played Van Helsing and blah 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 blah. But yes, so not Warner Brothers, Universal. It was Universal.
And it flopped really fucking hard. I know it did because.
Well, it flopped bad because, from the start, because the first big movie out of that franchise was The Mummy. And not only was the trailer fucked up because now I believe this was true. I don't know. I think this was true. It's definitely true about the trailer that was released without half of its soundtrack. So you couldn't make out what the fuck was going on in the trailer. But they then did that through parts of the actual film itself. When it went out, it had the wrong audio mix. So people went into the film and went, "What the fuck is this?"
To be fair on that movie as well, the other thing that probably doomed that movie is it was a horror movie. It's meant to be a horror movie, start of a horror movie franchise. But you've chosen as your main character actor Tom fucking Cruise.
Oh, no, I mean, as much as whatever your feelings against him, he is a massive Hollywood draw. Like
he's a Hollywood draw, but it's not. I don't have anything against Tom Cruise. It's just the problem that with Tom Cruise for me is that he doesn't play other characters. He just plays Tom Cruise in anything except one franchise, and this is I will give him this because I love these movies, the Top Gun franchise.
Yeah, but
really good in them. It's most of the films. He's just Tom Cruise to me because it's not his fault because I've seen him in films where he's not typecast and he's a really good actor. It's that he's unfortunately typecast to kind of always play the same type of characters, and it's not his fault. It's Hollywood's fault for typecasting the dude.
Yeah, but the actual big problem was, and it kind of still is the case because Universal had the same problem recently while trying to reboot the Mummy franchise, is that the Mummy franchise that everyone wants is the Brendan Fraser Mummy franchise to come back. Because that's the other thing people forget. That franchise of the Mummy is the Universal Mummy Monster franchise. And so no one wanted Tom Cruise fighting a really sexy, dirty thing in robes. They wanted a darker action adventure, and that's not what they got.
Yeah. To be fair, I watched I also, I'm going to admit this. I tried to watch The Mummy with Tom Cruise, and I just got bored. Like within the first 10 minutes, like the film, it's like not even him. He's like the best part of it. It's just the film in like 10 minutes. Like this isn't grabbing me at all. I'm not like grabbed by any of this like movie in the first 10 minutes. I kind of don't want to watch it. I just turned it off.
In all fairness, it's the same feeling I got when watching the last of the Brendan Fraser Mummy films. I was just at the point of like, this is just another dead person in a tomb. It isn't the Mummy. If it's the Mummy, leave them wrapped up for a bit, make them a bigger horror at the beginning. Otherwise, it's it doesn't matter if it's that. I can't remember who that actress was, or whether it's Jet Li, or whether it's Tommy Hilfiger. For goodness' sake,
the third Mummy film at least gave us a fight between. If I remember, it gave us a fight between. What was it? Gave us Jet Li as the bad guy, and I will.
Was that the third or the fourth one? I can't remember how many there was in the end.
There's three. There's Mummy, The Mummy Returns, The Mummy, The Tomb of the Dragon. No, wait. There's The Mummy, The Mummy Returns. I can't remember. And there's Mummy, The Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I can't remember if that's the third one or if there's a fourth one.
wasn't the Mummy, and I can't remember, was the Scorpion King, was that the second one? And then it had, because I know the Scorpion King had its own movies afterwards. I have a weird feeling that that was the third one. Wasn't the second one with the boy getting cuffed?
The second one was him. The second one was Alexander getting cuffed. Yeah, the third one. It's the third one. Is Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, because the
Okay.
third one's where Alexander's an adult,
Yeah.
And
then
they-
there was a whole
and they
animated
replaced
series.
Evie.
Oh, they replaced her in every series.
No, she's in the first two films. They replace her in the third film.
I thought there was a different Evie in the second film.
No, it's the same Evie in the first two movies. They replace her in the third one. No one understood why they replaced her in the third one. Just like randomly replaced her. It was one of the biggest things in the third film. They just replaced Evie in the third film. I was like, yeah, because it's the Mummy.
Oh, there's only two.
Yeah, the Mummy. The Mummy Returns, which is starring Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, aka Evie. Yeah, she played Evie in the first two movies, and then in the third film, for some random reason, Evie gets replaced by, is it Maria Bellier or something?
I can't remember. I just remember him being.
Yeah,
so...
Maria Bellier's Evelyn. For some reason, she was previously portrayed by Rachel Weisz. Like, she just got replaced in the third film. No one knows why. It just randomly replaced her.
But I remember the dude that was like the Egyptian dude that helped him out all the time.
Well, Benny.
Benny.
Benny. Oh, what was it?
Not Benny.
Benny. Oh no.
Benny was.
Benny
was the one that kept screwing him over.
No, Benny's the Egyptian dude. Benny's the Egyptian dude. The other guy.
Guy is I'm thinking of.
Benny's the guy that screws him over. He's the Egyptian dude. The other guy that's in it is.
It was like a Bedouin. He was a follower.
I know who you're on about. I can't remember his name, but yeah. I will say, Benny was hilarious because look, I'm on the look. I've got all the horses, O'Neill. Yeah, but Benny, you're on the wrong side of the river.
Yeah, well, that guy, the Bedouin guy, he was not only meant to get his own movie franchise spin-off that never appeared. He also ended up being down to play both. Oh, not both.
Eric Avari.
Yeah,
is who you're thinking of.
Hawkman. He's been up to play Hawkman, Green Lantern, and Batman.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I would love him as a Hawkman. That would be fucking epic.
A Nux and a Moon.
But,
what's his name? The one who played Arnold Vosloo, though, is fucking awesome. Vosloo, the guy that played, Imhotep.
I mean, yeah, but to look back to what we were talking about earlier in sort of the relaunch of these things, by the way, because I did have a second stage to the whole Scream thing, is because once Scream had started to become a bit too much of its own parody, they stopped. And then there was actually a rise again of different horror, like there was previously to the slasher stuff, which was the torture horror. Saw came in and took everything out, and there was many other copies to that. And then once that became the trope, and sort of mass gore horror and broken bone horror was on again, jump scare horror came in, which is quite an important thing here, because one of the big things about slashers was that jump scare appearing out of nowhere. And in amongst the general populace and in pop culture, things like Five Nights at Freddy's and things had really entered the jump scare aspect, the trying to run away from something that just seems to always appear around the corner. And Scream was primed for that. Weird enough, I really thought the Halloween franchise was going to do it, because H2O came out just too early. It came out just before all that sort of stuff kicked off.
Halloween, 20 years later. I have that movie, and it's just a bit meh. It
is a bit jank. It's the whole car crash scene at the end. but then the thing is that then did spawn onto what became actually quite a good franchise again, with Jamie Lee Curtis coming back.
I did
The
love,
last
by the
two have been good.
I did love the fact that the last two though they just kind of went. We know the franchise went off the rails, so we're just gonna go and ignore that every movie that came after it, and just this is directly a sequel to the second film only. That's it. Every
Yeah,
film afterwards didn't happen anymore, and I went. I like this because then I only have to watch two films before this, and also this makes a hell of a lot more sense
yeah. I
than
mean,
the
the
original.
one I can't remember which one it is. Wasn't it the second one? I can't remember. What was the one? No, it might be the third one with the possessed Halloween masks.
It's the third or the fourth one. It's the Rob Zombie
Yeah.
ones when Rob Zombie took over the franchise for a while.
No, no, no. This was an old one. The little kid wears a pumpkin mask that
Oh,
has saying in it.
Halloween 3 is the
Yeah.
possessed mask one because it was originally meant to be the Halloween 2 because the Halloween wasn't meant to be was meant to be originally an anthology franchise.
Something like that. Yeah.
Wasn't meant to be a like here's a set character. It was meant to be an anthology series, like a series of films where each film would be something different happening on Halloween, some horror event. An
I think that comes
anthology
down
is
to
like
John Carpenter.
different. It's basically where each like for example an anthology series where each episode of the series is a different
Yeah, we get it.
separate story. No,
Like
it's
American Horror
no
Story.
Miss Cat's asking.
Oh, like American Horror Story.
Yeah, it's the idea that that's what Halloween was used to be, but was meant to be. But Michael Myers was so fucking popular that that it spawned a franchise instead. But Halloween, that's why Halloween 3 is so weird because it's like in the middle of it, and it's like this is the second film meant to be the actual anthology film.
Yeah, it's just bonkers.
It's bonkers as
Um,
shit.
But here's
Yeah,
the thing.
that Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. That's an anthology series. That's a good
Yeah.
series. I love that entire fucking series. I love anything Guillermo del Toro touches. Pretty much, I don't think I've ever watched a bad movie, but I've not watched all of his stuff. But anything he ever makes, I absolutely adore and love. That man is
Blade 2 is
fucking.
close to being a work of art. Very close to being a
Well,
work
it
of
is.
art.
Hellboy 1 and 2, the original two, are fucking brilliant movies. The Strain is
Very
such a good series, and like it's such a fucking
Very good
brilliant,
series.
brilliant take on vampires. Like it is such a unique design idea behind vampires. The Strain is
Yes.
such a brilliant way of doing
The
vampires.
Boy.
The Strigoi is so
Um,
fucking badass. I love everything about that series is brilliant, and I will recommend if you love horror, watch The Strain. It is a good series. The fourth season is a bit weird, even I will admit the fourth season, but it's based on a bunch of books, which I didn't even realize he wrote the books. That's the other part.
Because we're on the subject of horror, and we've already mentioned Stephen King. We should mention a horror writer that has actually outsold Stephen King more by quite a bit, and that is the almighty R.L. Stein.
R.L. Stein.
The
Goosebumps and R.L.
Goosebumps
Stein
Stein.
are fucking amazing. I love the Goosebumps series of books.
Yeah,
I love
famously-
those series that series was just amazing as a kid.
This is what he was great, and this is what was actually great about him, especially if you go over and read again as you grow up. So many of his stories are the classic horror movies and horror tropes, and he just rewrote them in his own world. Don't Go Down to the Basement is The Fly. I mean, the end of that is the original Fly, just taken straight out. The Curse of the Mummy is The Mummy. You know, he's one of the best at homaging, and once you realise like what you're reading as an adult, you're like, oh wait a minute, I know exactly what he's referencing it, and it primed me for so much of the horror I ended up watching later on, especially the classics. Yeah, he was a genius at it.
Stein, R.L. Stein. I will never anything bad to say about R.L. Stein. Goosebumps
no.
was much
I
of my
will say
childhood.
there is loads of bad things to say about him. So The reason Goosebumps disappeared actually wasn't because they weren't popular. In fact, they were incredibly popular. He, I don't know the best legal way to say this, but kind of many people would say he screwed over the publisher big time. And hardly anyone wanted to deal with him. So he had to
Jackson,
publish
become a
a
robot
lot
again.
of it. I'm sorry. Am I back now?
You're back now.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that was just the censor god censoring what I was saying, I guess. But yeah, no, he did. There is big legal issues he's had with 20th Century Fox and his publishers, and yeah, it seems to be the best dude in those situations. Sold more books than Stephen King has.
You know, you know, I forget. I forgot that it's Guillermo del Toro that made Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
I forget. I always forget that
Toro.
it's him that made Pacific Rim. Like he is. I always forget that it's like he just was like, I want to make a mech movie.
That's why there is such a difference between.
But I did not forget that he made one of my favorite horrors.
Film.
I was gonna say one of my favorite horrors that he made that is really good. And I would if you've never seen it,
Yep.
1997.
Yep.
Mimic.
Yes.
Such a good film.
That and Pan's Labyrinth. Two really creepy films.
So the premise of Mimic, that's when this premise within the first 5 minutes of the film. So there is a virus killing kids. This is disease killing children, spread by cockroaches. In the start of the film, basically, scientists engineer a breed of bug called the Judas breed of bug, which is designed to mimic normal cockroaches and basically prey on them and release an enzyme that kills the cockroaches. This bug works effectively, perfectly, wipes out the cockroaches, and so the disease is basically eradicated. That's the start of the film. You can guess why the title is Mimic, because the bugs are the Judas breed was engineered so it wouldn't reproduce. It did, and then it evolved to hunt its prey. Yep, they evolved to mimic people. Bunny shoes.
Yeah,
the original is brilliant. The two sequels are kind of shit.
Well.
The two sequels are a bit shit. I'm not gonna lie.
But I mean, to be fair, everything that gets done really further and further away from his control gets worse and worse.
Well, I know he made Hellboy 1 and Hellboy 2, brilliant, and then he made Pacific Rim. He made Pan's Labyrinth, which is awesome. Pacific Rim 1 is amazing. Pacific Rim 2 wasn't made by him. It was just the studio wanted another Pacific Rim movie, and that's why I feel like it's so bad, because they lost the guy that made most of the designs.
I believe
Critters is a good film.
And I believe the worst part about that as well is it's not that he didn't want to do one, it's that he just wanted to do another project first.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we ain't got time.
The Shape of Water is one of his weirder movies, I'm not going to lie.
Yep.
Like, I love him. He does, but I like that he's willing to make films that he just wants to make. You know what I mean? He's like, no, I want to make this movie. I'm like, I don't give a shit if it's going to be popular. I just want to make it.
Sorry.
It's going to be cool.
So, right, Miss K, you have now entered my realm. I love B-movie trash. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Don't you insult the Critters and call them trash. The Critters are fucking awesome.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Critters, Gremlins, Ghoulies. These are my films.
Gremlins is the best movie. Gremlins is like, it's a fun little Christmas movie on the fucking box. No, that's a horror movie. That movie is fucking terrifying as a kid. It's like fucking hell. The funny thing is the first movie is actually a horror movie if you pay attention. The second one is a fucking comedy, and I love them both. But it's like, it's so funny. But Critters, I love the Critters franchise. Gets more ridiculous. Also, it's the only franchise where you ever hear a fucking monster just go shit in the middle of the film because he got shot with a shotgun, and one of them gets shotgunned, and the other one goes shit.
My favourite part in Critters is just how fuck nuts crazy the storyline for the bounty hunter goes over the course of the franchise.
It just gets more and
Um,
more ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, he goes from being the farmhand to being a space bounty hunter. Is yeah, so yeah, there's the the critters accidentally come to Earth because of the ship that they're being carried through space in. The bounty hunter crashes, and stuff happens. And within that stuff happens, a dimwit farmhand gets the bounty hunter's armor. And then by the end of the film, he just flies off in the ship with complete confidence. Whereas a few hours earlier, he didn't really know what a fork was. And then, like the next film, he comes back to Earth. Like, I heard you got more critters. It's like, who the fuck needed you, farm boy?
I love the Critters movies, though. They are
Black
just
sheep, I've seen, yeah.
they just get yeah. Oh, Black Sheep is fucking hilarious. It's so fuck. New Zealand, where our biggest export is sheep. We made a horror movie where sheep are the fucking zombies. And I'm like,
My
I love
favorite
it.
things at the moment are the out
Oh
of
my god, the second
copyright
one.
horror parodies.
What like Winnie,
So
like what Blood and Honey?
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. The Piglet film was freaking hilarious. Popeye the Sailor Man, the Slayer Man was funny. I can't wait for the Steamboat Willie one. I think it's already out, but I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, these things have been making me fucking die with laughter.
So I didn't realize. So it's okay. Steve Bloom was the voice of the Krites in the last Critter movie.
Yeah, Screenboat. So Screenboat Willie is the first ever animation with Mickey the Mouse in it was called Steamboat Willie, and that has actually gone out of copyright. That version of Mickey Mouse now belongs to every single person in the world to do what they want with. I believe so. Yes. You obviously know more than me. And yeah, they're now making a parody on it because they can.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hilarious.
Critters. Critters are fucking critters. Critters
I
had
just want to
no
see
right to be that
Mickey
good.
Mouse stabbing someone up. It's going to be hilarious.
There's already been a Mickey Mouse horror movie that's already been released.
But yeah, I know one got released, but there is meant to be no, it doesn't matter.
No, there's one called Steamboat Willie, which is like been released already, and it's. I'm gonna be honest, it's fucking terrible.
They're all terrible. They're
It's worse.
all terrible.
Now, what's funny is Blood and Honey actually apparently gets a lot of praise from even the horror community because, despite it being, it's clearly this was made to be a fucking terrible film. To be like, the guys who made it actually made it make sense.
Oh, no. So no, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's not that none of it makes sense. It's not that it's bad in principle or anything. There is many reasons why it should get praised, but it is also very much just a grim, hardcore mega slasher. You're not going to go into this with something.
I didn't know this.
What's that?
Brad, the only one who does anything in the first Critters movie, the youngest kid, the one who basically is is Scott Grimes.
Yeah.
I did not know it was Scott Grimes.
That's like his first movie role. I think it's his first role.
I didn't know that was Scott Grimes because I never looked at the actors for the film. I've watched Critters 1. And I was like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that Lieutenant Malloy was the Critters kid?
So Scott Grimes, depending on what you've watched, you may know him. If you've watched something like The Orville or American Dad, he's in a lot of the Seth MacFarlane stuff.
He's brilliant. I love him.
He's Stewie in American Dad. Is it Stu?
He's not. He's Kevin. He's Kevin Swanson or Michael Pulaski or Michael.
Kevin.
He plays Kevin Swanson.
Kevin. That's it. Kevin. I can't remember the kids' names. But yeah, no. Look him up. He's in tons of stuff.
Have you heard that apparently Orville season 4 is finally filming?
I've heard. Oh well, I heard that something was happening. I didn't know that it was filming yet. I thought maybe
Apparently, it's
they were.
filming. Apparently, I don't believe. I'll believe it when I see it. But if it's filming,
We,
I'll be happy because I really want the Orville to be back. It's
now we
a,
know where Disney put the Doctor Who budget they've just saved.
yeah. So the Orville is a show by Seth MacFarlane, the guy behind. He's the guy behind Family Guy, because it is him that wrote Family Guy.
Family, yeah, he's the creator of Family Guy, American Dad,
Yeah.
the Cleveland Show. Yeah,
It's essentially a Star Trek style show. Yeah, the space show. It's so good. It's like I love the whole Toph Toph storyline. Like you know which one I'm on about, don't you, Jax?
so fun. Yeah,
Yeah, the his Borat's daughter. I forget his fucking how you say his name. You know who
Potter.
I think his whole daughter's like storyline bit of like that is such a like resonated me so well, and I'm like, this was done in a proper way. And I'm like, this is a comedy show and it's tackling serious topics and doing it well, and no one's getting. And I'm like, and it's doing it really well. And I'm like, Seth MacFarlane is really genuinely just tackles this shit really well in any show he puts it in. He might make lots of jokes about stuff, but when it comes to doing serious shit, he really does take it seriously.
but here's the thing. This is kind of where I got to mildly disagree with you. It's not a comedy show. It's a science fiction show that's got comedy in it.
It is a really good show, though. I love
Because all the science fiction is proper science fiction, and it's what's quite interesting as well is so many Star Trek fans, let's say, want of a better term, complain about how new Trek isn't Star Trek. So the Orville gives you pretty much as close as you're ever going to get to that version of Star Trek you want.
Yeah.
And it's a version of Star Trek I like. It is my preferred. Not that I don't like New Trek at all. I really enjoy New Trek.
I'm excited for Academy because I actually I love the whole idea of it. Plus,
I
we
like
get Robert
old school
Picardo
Star Trek.
back in it because Robert
Yeah.
Picardo's back, and I'm watching it.
Right. But old school Star Trek, well, the Next Generation era onwards is my preferred style. And the Orville gives me that. But it gives me that with a bit more, it gives me with a bit more funny, which I kind of like. But it also gives me a bit more dark and grit.
We got distracted because we mentioned because I found out Scott Grimes was Brad from the Critters, and I got distracted by the Orville because I realised who he is in the Orville.
It does do some great episodes really well with great messaging and dark as crap, and where the humour is really only there to undercut how dark everything is.
Oh yeah, but back to the topic of actually what we were originally talking about before we get distracted by talking about Star Trek, Star Wars, and stuff. Before we got started, but let's go back to horror, and let's talk about another franchise, okay? A franchise that is very dear to my heart, and I absolutely love this franchise, and I want to meet the main star of this franchise and shake that man's hand. Okay? Chucky.
Is it the Brony films? Oh, Chucky.
I want to meet Brad Dourif and I want to shake the man's hand. I love that guy because he has played that character since the beginning, and Chucky is just it's like one of my favorite horror movie franchise because it is just it didn't take itself seriously at all after a while. It knew to lead into the comedy aspect of it, like become a horror comedy in the end. But it's like Jennifer Tilly is amazing, and I love that they make the joke of her about that I look like Jennifer Tilly in their own movies when with Tiffany and everything.
Yeah.
I love that they actually make the whole joke of I could be Jennifer Tilly. It's like you are Jennifer Tilly, and I love the fact that they are self-aware. And she's like, I will do this film I will take pay cuts so everyone else can get because I will happily star in this all the time. She just genuinely loves starring it's a franchise that is made genuinely with love from the whole cast. And it's a family affair.
It's also the horror genre still has something that the science fiction genre doesn't so much anymore, which is quite a big. I mean, this is going to sound wrong because all the conventions are like this, but when you go to a horror convention, you get sort of accused to have people go sign things that seem to be a lot bigger. Um, and that these horror people, for every film that they make, chances are they pay that dwarfs the amount of money that they actually is dwarfed by the amount of money they make at then the convention circuit for the next 4 years after.
Well, I was looking at the horror
Um,
conventions in England, and I'm like, I really want to go because some of the actors there are actors that I've like, for years, and they're all like for various different films and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah,
I really want to go because like the last one I was looking at is like it's got Matthew Lillard going for Scream as Stu, and I'm like, I would love to meet him, mostly because I love him as Shaggy, and he became the de facto voice of Shaggy when after playing him live on TV, in the films, and
yeah,
and I love him as Stu. He's such a good actor. I've never had a film like this is out of the films I've watched, so I can't comment every movie he's been in. But out of the films I've watched, I have never seen a bad film with Matthew Lillard in it. Like for films I've watched that he's in, I've never seen him be like the worst character in a movie. I find films where technically the movie is bad, if you get what I mean.
oh no, you're completely right. He's one of those actors that actually somehow, even in the worst pile of crap that's being produced, somehow they elevate the bits that they're in.
Yeah, like he's
Um,
like even in 13th Ghost, which I will say is I love 13 Ghosts as a horror movie, but it is a little bit.
yeah.
He's
Thing
like
is,
he's the best part of the film. It's him
here's the
that
thing:
makes the best part of that movie, and I love him the whole.
13 Ghosts. Once again, 13 Ghosts is a film that has an issue that was a problem back in the old days, and then stopped, and then came back as a thing, which was gimmick filming. And it is something that then never got translated at home unless you had a certain version, and even then the gimmick got lost, which was in 13 Ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
You could actually wear the glasses in the cinema to see the ghosts.
Ah, yeah, I know what you mean now.
Now, this is something that was actually Hammer films, Hammer Horror. If you've ever heard of Hammer Horror,
I have
uh,
a memoir. I
British
know
movies,
memoir.
yeah, you will. They were big on these gimmicks back in their heyday. They would have things like the Tingler, where all the chairs in the cinema would be slightly electrified. So when the ghost appeared on screen, everyone would get a slight electric shock. What we would now call 4D cinema, they were doing back in the 50s and 60s, or 60s and 70s.
Oh yeah.
Um, and in fact, the original 13 Ghosts had that gimmick already back then. If you wore a special pair of glasses, you could see the ghosts on screen doing whatever they were doing. If you didn't, you would just see the living actors, in parentheses, doing their thing on screen and not knowing what the ghosts are doing. So it was an old gimmick coming back. And it's a shame that doesn't really.
Daredevil season 2. Random update for Daredevil season 2. Daredevil Born Again season 2.
Like 4D cinema, yeah.
Yeah, right. It's gonna be it's gonna be an amazing series. You know immediately why I know it's gonna be an amazing series.
What's that?
Matthew Lillard's in it,
Yeah.
so it's
Great.
amazingly gonna be amazing.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
locked on to him. The one thing I did find interesting talk about Daredevil because you have is a slight incident happened at New York Comic Con when talking about some stuff.
Uh huh.
One of the people interviewing Charlie Cox after seeing the animated Spider-Man trailer
Mm-hmm.
was interviewing Charlie Cox and said, amongst other things, it was great to see you in the Spider-Man trailer I've just seen. In which he looked at him dead in the eye and went, I'm not in that trailer, am I? And it was like, and he asked another question and went, oh, the animated thing. Oh, I haven't seen the animated one yet. Now, why would he give a shocked look like that and a weird answer like that if he's not in the freaking movie?
What? Oh, do you mean if he's not in the next Spider-Man film?
Yeah.
I love Charlie Cox. He is the epitome of he is Daredevil in like all sense of the words at this point. He's one of those actors that is like the Ryan Reynolds has become Wade Wilson. Okay, let's be
Yeah.
honest. Ryan Reynolds is Wade Wilson at this point. No one else can
Yeah.
replace him. Unfortunately, it also no one else really is going to ever. Anyone who steps into that role is going to have to live up to Hugh Jackman when it comes to Wolverine, right? Yeah, let's be honest, because Hugh Jackman did as much as I legitimately, I love Hugh Jackman, but I will fully say I prefer the one scene where we got it played as a joke in Deadpool versus Wolverine, where we finally got the comic accurate Wolverine. We need an actor that short to play him because I'm not gonna lie, I want Wolverine if we get the new Wolverine when we get him back in the MCU. I want him to be that short because I want us to have the interaction between Wade and Logan, if you know what I mean. Where, because I'm sorry, but in the comics, it's one of the funniest things ever is that Wade constantly pokes fun at his height, and it's like it's one of those things where he always has the argument. Are you just always angry because you're so short? It's just like stop it, Wade. You know you're gonna get ripped apart in 5 seconds if you carry on. It usually results in Wade getting ripped apart in 5 seconds after he carries on. And I'm like,
all the time growing up, and this was before X-Men became a thing, and like they'd just done one film, and like even then we was like, oh, he actually does play Wolverine pretty damn well. Every actor I've seen in my entire life, and there's only been 3, and Hugh Jackman is one of them, and the other guy's name I can't remember. There's only been 3 people I've seen do something on screen and go, fuck me, that person could be Wolverine. And so one is Hugh Jackman, but the other one I remember thinking this long before there was an X-Men film, and it is in Lethal Weapon 2.
Yep.
And it is Mel Gibson fighting in the kitchen when the mob come in to beat him up, and the fight scene is so close to being the fight scene of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in the kitchen in X2. It is unbelievable, and there's literally a bit where he jumps up onto the table. This is Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. So he jumps up onto the countertop on the kitchen and does the Wolverine pose just without the claws, and then goes in to just beat the shit out of a guy, like full berserker rage. And ever since I was a kid, I was like, I would love to see him as a Wolverine. Obviously not anymore.
Though.
But my point is all 3 of the people I've gone, that person should be Wolverine, has been Australian.
It is the Aussies. The Aussies just
It's the Aussies. There's something about them. They look like they could go berserker rage any second.
Have you met an Australian?
Yes, a few.
Now, before we end today's episode, let's talk about our last topic and the amazingly positive good news we got today about Doctor Who. The positive news of we know we're getting a Christmas special next year now, and then we know that we're getting a season the year after because that's what they've said. That's the current announcement is.
Yep.
2027 will be the next season, but 2026 will get a Christmas special at the very least. And yet Disney has officially not renewed the show for a 3rd season, and the reason why this is a positive, by the way, Kat, is because originally we were both thinking that if Disney pulls away, it's not just next year that's going to miss; it'll be 2027 that's also going to be a miss. That's the thing, because there would have been. It seems Disney's pulled away and gone. We're not going to enforce the non-compete clause either.
So here's the thing. There's in contracts there is a load of things that could have happened here.
Yeah.
Disney technically have the rights to Doctor Who for a number of years, and the BBC wouldn't be able to make any more Doctor Who in that time until basically Disney gave them the yes to do it.
Which wasn't the contract because we know that Doctor Who's still on BBC.
If Disney didn't want to do it, that would lock up anything for years. So what they've actually done is, on Disney's end, and whatever the conversations were, whatever's gone through, they've decided to end their contracts and any obligations to each other, which means the BBC are now free and clear to do whatever they want, and then find new places to stream it globally, because that
Yeah.
was the main thing with Disney. It weren't so much money, because they did get more money, but they actually were now had a place to stream all of it globally easily.
Yeah.
Cutting through a lot of different rules.
Well, and contrary to people's actual, contrary to what a lot of people think, Disney wasn't behind anything. That Disney wasn't the one that went, "Oh, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way." As Russell T Davies has even said, and BBC has said multiple times during the whole thing with Disney, was that they have just bought the rights to stream the show. They have no creative control. They are just giving us extra money, and as part of that, as the deal we've made them to allow them to stream the show across the world. They didn't have creative control. But as me and you've discussed before, we both have realised the reason why Russ Davies' second run might not be as good as his original is Moffat's not there to ground him into the actual Doctor Who stuff. It kind of feels like they need each other.
There is that, yes. Now, to say Disney have no control is a little bit mischievous, because yes, technically, yes, their contracts say no, you're just a streamer and a funder, but then on the other side of that, they could say they would have definitely had a morality thing or something go right, but if you want to stream on our service, this is things you've got to hold up to. So, and I don't know if that existed, but that's definitely a way that these things have been done in the past to get around certain wording. And elements of control. But like I said, that doesn't matter anymore. Disney isn't there. And yeah, I completely agree. There was, I mean, I was a big proponent for getting Russell T Davies back. I have a lot of fondness for his era, and I've not got a lot of fondness really for a big chunk of Moffat being in charge's era.
Whereas I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite of you.
Yeah, you're the opposite.
I'm the opposite.
But when
Moffat is the one I love, and
But-
Davis's era, I went, this is too predictable. I predicted the bad guy of season 3 as soon as the face of Bo goes, you're not alone. And I predicted the bad guy of season 4 the minute that the blonde girl
that's not
turns
him.
around.
That's neither here nor there. It turns out when they work together, they're better at the job because of the inputs they give. And the last lot we've had has been Russell T Davies kind of on his own, and he's not that good on his own.
Well, it's what isn't it an interview you said you saw between the two of them, where Russell's just talking about this random, like all this, and you just have Moffat's face just suddenly like, what the fuck are you on about? Because Moffat's very much about he wants to stay hung to the old show and reference it and bring stuff in, and then Dave's like, I'm just in this for this make a sci-fi show and all this and that, all these ideas. I don't really care about this stuff, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's like this is why it was so good under Russell's first one.
It comes from two different interviews. One was, I think, after the Doctor Who at the proms, and the other one is from when they were doing all the interviews and stuff for the after episodes of Doctor Who. And one of them is the two of them talking about their styles. And Moffat is like, well, I very much like to go for big science fiction tropes and then link them in and break them down. And, you know, as long as you can, when you're working with time travel, you can realize that a part of a story can finish over here, and then you can start over here. And then it's easy to do things. And then Russell T Davies next one was like, well, I have to write everything linear. I can't write something for an episode over here whilst I'm writing an episode for over here. So I have to do everything in order. So yeah, that's why I don't really do big time travel stories, or to the one of that extent. And like, okay, but you're in a time travel show. And then the other one was at the proms, or the BBC, the Doctor Who proms, or whatever. And yeah, exactly like he said, he was like, no, I don't do it like that. He's like, what the fuck do you mean? And yeah, especially with recently though, his thing, he did an interview not so long ago where he described what he's really looking for in Doctor Who is just absolute content. That's kind of not what you need from it, you know?
Yeah,
just a good show.
Want a good show. It's like, it is Russell just kind of it is also unfortunate. I think it's also because he's a bit older than he was when he ran it the first time. He's not the same. Like a lot of people need to also remember is that we like as this is a quote from Doctor Who, which is why I'm stealing and saying this. This is from Moffat's era.
Yeah.
We're all different people all through our lives. Like we change. It is true. It is actually a true thing. We all change, and
That's
he's
true.
not the same Russell T Davies now as he was when he did the first run. Like a lot of stuff in his life has changed.
I get that. I mean,
So
we've had this conversation
it's
before
a lot
about
of stuff in his
especially
life.
about how
So it's like I don't think his writing will ever be the same as it was originally because
yeah,
he's older, he's a bit more mature than he was, but he's a bit more not mature,
yeah.
but it's like his things and stuff have changed. So I think what it is it's also and also the one thing I will say as well, in personally, is that a lot of it for Russ Davis's run one, not for everyone, not for you, for particularly, or for me, particularly, because me and you both enjoyed Shooty's run. We both enjoyed it. We there's bits we have issues with. I dislike,
Yeah.
like, we did both dislike the way it ended because unfortunately the way it ended, was a
It
lot
was
of rewrites. It didn't do the
yeah,
man justice. Shooty was brilliant. I loved every single moment of him. He was like, in all honesty, he was the Doctor through and through, from the start of his run until the end of his run. He was really good as that character. He was amazing as that character for me. Yes, he was a bit more touchy feely in the first season. That it was a bit less like that in the second season. It got a lot better
yeah.
in the second season. Like, but I genuinely enjoyed his run as the Doctor. He was beautiful as it. He was just genuinely. He's a wonderful like
But
actor.
what
I love
I'm
him.
finding more and more interesting as well, especially within the second series, is a lot of the stuff that I did have complaints about. We're now kind of finding out as all these things are starting to come out a bit more. That it is because of these weird edits that they
Yeah,
kind of had to make to fit that final episode in.
to fit that. Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's because, and like I say, and so kind of my instincts were right. These episodes don't feel right. Now we know they don't feel right because either something was ripped out of it, so they're saying later on won't be a weird thing, or they've actually quickly had to add something in.
oh yeah, full well in regards to it. It's like, but it's like I will admit, as much as I'm happy that I got both predictions in season two right about the bad guys. I also realised that the reason I got that rewatching seasons, one and two of Shooty's run, I
Yeah.
realised why I got the predictions right,
Why
and
is that?
it's the same reason I got the predictions right when I was watching Rusty Davis's first run. It's fucking obvious it's actually really obvious when you kind of realize it. When you like the subtle bit of
Yeah,
Mrs. Flood.
obviously.
It's suddenly like, oh shit, it can't be the master because he's already said the master's in my tooth in the thingy. And the only other Time Lord it could fucking possibly be that is a woman is the Rani. I'm like, my brain just went, that's the reason why I immediately guessed the Rani.
Well, there was Astra as well. So people, we've got to remember there was a lot of decent speculation as to who she was. Because there was a chance that she could have been a version of Clara. There was a chance that she could have been Astra. She could have been Astrid coming back.
But
She's definitely something more.
but yeah,
Yeah,
in all
very well
essence,
done.
it's like, and then the Omega one to me was just okay. This season's been hinting at like gods and stuff, and my brain went Time Lord God, Omega.
Yeah, like so like
That, that was my
I
brain went like that, and I'm like, oh okay, it's Omega, and it's like, and then I'm realizing the other reason why is it's his writing. Like, I don't get me wrong, I love the man. Like, I don't have anything bad to about his run over them. That to me, his runs are too predictable. If you know what I mean, like you can kind of predict where it's going to go from the start. Like that is the thing I liked about Moffat versus like the. But I also liked the other thing is that I think the other thing I kind of liked about Moffat is the thing that we've discussed about Rusty Davis's run, where that's different is Moffat had the cracks in the wall thing running through the
yeah
whole of Matt's run arc until until we finally find out where they came from.
yeah
We find out where they originated from, And like the whole silence will fall thing, we finally found out at the end of Matt's run in his final episode. We now understand why the whole thing, like that's all wrapped up in Matt's like regeneration. But Russell has this thing of starts a story arc in the one season, ends it the next season immediately, and it's kind of a bit boring. I actually like the whole where does the silence will fall thing come from with Madame Kavarian? Why is she doing all this? To find out at the end, it's because she goes back in time. Kavarian basically becomes the bootstrap paradox, part of the silence of the crack to create the cracks of creating
only
everything.
argument against why he couldn't do that a lot is because one, when he started Doctor Who, I believe they only actually had the first one was only a one season run until it got halfway through and they realised how big it was, and then they gave it another 2 seasons. So he never really had a major ability to start putting in elements of anything major, except for really the bad wolf stuff that came at the towards the end of the first season. And that sort of did become his strap line, but more as a hint towards danger from the
You've gone robot again.
As his run went on, and he became, he was starting towards him leaving, so he couldn't really start anything major like that anyway. Whereas Moffat, being a writer and knowing that they were going to have 5 seasons from when he started a story to when he would still be there as a staff writer, ended up being head writer. So he could do stuff like that. And then when it comes back to like the shooting Doctor Who,
it is.
They did the first season. They knew they had. I don't know how it worked out, but I don't think they knew they had a second season till midway through the first again. So once again, it's difficult to start any big chain stories not knowing if you're going to get a season 2 or a season 3. The season 3 they didn't even get, so they couldn't have, and that kind of bollocks up a big chaining story that they were about to start.
But yeah, in regards to a lot of things with I will think the thing that, in my opinion, right, as we found out the last 2 weeks ago when we were doing the little Doctor Who quiz, who was the first person who actually wanted a female doctor, Jax?
Oh yeah, no, I get it. It's an old school, yeah.
Yeah,
it goes back to
no. But I think the thing that, honestly, in my opinion, didn't kill the show, but killed interest in the show, right, through Jodie's run, isn't Jodie. Jodie's an amazing actress. Like, she's a good actress.
Chibnall can't write.
He can't. He's shit. And I'm not even gonna lie, he's shit. And I will never, ever, ever defend the man, because it's like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've actually now rewatched Broadchurch. Tried to rewatch Broadchurch, and I realized actually no, his writing even this is shit. I don't get how this show is so loved, because I think it's only loved because it's got David Tennant in the fucking show.
It's exactly it.
And I'm like, it's him that saves the show. And I'm like, I'm sat there going, no, it's actually shit. The show is just genuinely crap. And I'm like, Chibnall cannot write. There's a reason the episodes of Moffat. Sorry, you're like, I think your microphone is peaking, so it's like turning you into a robot. But
okay.
There's a reason that, like, that I think that the most forgettable episodes of Capaldi and Matt and Tennant's run, right? The ones that are kind of shit and really, really badly done, like forgettable, genuinely, most of them are Chris Chibnall's episodes. They're his episodes from the, because when he was a writer. And it's like,
and you're not wrong.
Like, there's a few ones that he did right that are good. Don't get me wrong. I won't say all of his episodes are these, but most of the shit episodes you forget about in Doctor Who are really bad. Like, I'll tell you this: one of the episodes he wrote, by the way, is one of the worst Torchwood episodes, in my opinion. Cyberwoman.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, 100% agree.
But in Doctor Who, he wrote 42, which I will say is a good episode. I liked 42. He wrote The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, which is really good. I actually like those episodes, The Return of the Silurians. Right? But, like, he also wrote... He did one scene in Twice Upon a Time, and he did The Power of Three. He wrote The Power of Three, which, by the way, is the most boring episode ever. That boring,
Yeah.
go nowhere episode ever. I'm not going to fucking lie, it is. It's so boring. He wrote Dinosaurs in a Spaceship, which the only reason I remember why I like that episode is there's dinosaurs in it. Other than that, I don't like the episode. I actually don't remember most of the episode. It's got dinosaurs in
Here's
it.
the thing: you don't know how the Doctor Who writing room works. I mean, I definitely don't. Don't know if they are given a pack of what the story's going to be, or whether or not each one of them writes a perspective for a script for each episode, and then they're picked out like that, and then heavily edited through. So there might be a reason why he's got a couple of good episodes in there. It's because he's written 30 scripts and they've gone, we'll pick this one.
Yeah. Well, for example, where is it? So, Rosa, he wrote Rosa, amazing episode. I think anyone who's seen the Rosa Parks episode genuinely says it is brilliant, beautifully written. He wrote Spyfall. You know, the one that none of us knew that Sacha Dhawan was the master until he actually revealed it. They kept that under wraps properly.
Spy master.
Yeah, I did say look for the spy master, and even I went, oh shit.
Very good.
It was so good. And he wrote Ascension of the Cybermen. So, and you know the
couple of the big problems they had, especially with the Jodie Whittaker stuff, was early on. They had a better character in
Ruth
Brian
and Ruth. I'm sorry,
I will. All of them, but
yeah.
Brian in particular. He took over pretty much most of the
Graham?
Doctor role. Right, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He took over most of the Doctor role.
Yeah. It was a series where the companions were doing more than the Doctor most episodes, and like the companions are supposed to be useful. That Modern Who had established all the companions. Amy and Rory did shit. River did stuff. Clara did shit. Rose, Martha, Donna all did stuff that helped it, but the Doctor was the one that ultimately solves the problem. And in 90 of those episodes with Moffat that he wrote, the companions resolved it, not the Doctor, and that's the problem.
And yeah, they became superfluous. But then, like I say, a lot of the great show I was watching from Australia, which is about there was all Doctor Who fans. I think it was just called Whovian. And like for a couple of years, they've been saying a lot, especially the women on this panel, was like, "We need a female Doctor. We need a female Doctor." And then the first couple of episodes come out, and they're like, "Who is the guy playing Graham?" They're Australian. They didn't know who it was. He should be the Doctor.
Yeah, I know.
He's fantastic.
He's fucking brilliant. It's really annoying because he is so fucking good. And I'm like,
I mean, and what's sad, really, for me, this is my point of view on it all.
It's Bradley Walsh that plays Graham, and I'm like, if Bradley Walsh was the Doctor for these seasons, I actually probably have watched them because it feels like his role was written for Jodie, and then instead they went, "Oh, Jodie couldn't pull this off." It's like Chibnall just suddenly went, Jodie couldn't pull this off, and then made Graham do all the stuff that the Doctor would normally do. And I'm sat there going, you know, if you'd written Jodie's character like this, people would have probably fallen in love with Jodie immediately if you'd written her like this. That's what's funny, because you gave an actress that is, I've seen her in other shit, and she's brilliant in most shit I've seen her in. You gave her, let's be absolutely honest, you gave her shit. You gave her a shit role and she's meant to be your main character, and you didn't give her most of the stuff you have her do. Is like, it just feels really like bad. Like one of the episodes, the only reason why I remember this episode, the Sarunga Conundrum, right? It's because the stupid fucking monster in it and its name. The Pating. You know, the little tiny thing that eats everything. I remember it because that fucking creature is stupid. Also,
well, Karen,
I was going to say, the stuff he's written, Life on Mars, Season 1, Episode 7. I don't remember Episode 7 of Season 1. Season 2, Episode 2. He also wrote most of the other episodes I don't remember from Jodie's run. Like the Flux, he wrote the whole Flux. and I think it's shit. I just hate the Flux.
It's the worst thing ever. That makes sense.
It's also a big nothing burger. Because at the end of it, everything gets reset back to what it was before, and I'm just sat there going, what was the point of this?
So much of, I mean, that describes some of the Jodie Whittaker seasons. But
like the Timeless Child, the big reveal at the end of season 2, nothing got done with it at all for the rest of her run, and Moffat and Davis is the one that did more with it.
Yeah, but sort of, but here's the thing that really gets me, and it does actually, it should be controversial. I seem to think, but this is the thing that I guess it can't do is, in my opinion, the Doctor should never have changed gender anyway. For the simple is that the character itself is one of what, 2 or 3 really, if male characters in entertainment, isn't or like all about the patriarchy or some smashing someone's head, right, and get booze in. It's just someone like, yeah, they get involved in these wars, but essentially being a kind and respect it like anyone else is doing, and just leaving them alone to do what they do. And I actually think that's a great positive stereotype that we just don't have enough of. And it was taken away a little period, and that I think things little. Yeah, the only little bit, but it was just badly written. But anyone else better into write
it. Just anyone else better to write her. But she would have done probably well. If literally, if they just wrote her like Graham for the whole thing, she would have probably hit off with the fans so well. Let's be honest. That's the problem. That is one of the major problems.
So, I mean, this biggest problem was
the
biggest problem was Graham. Bradley Cooper should have been, Bradley Walsh.
You are lagging like hell, Jax. Your internet is dying.
For that season, because they made him.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest, right? I'm going to say arachnids in the UK is just the Green Death.
Or nothing else.
It's just the Green Death, but without maggots and flies, it's spiders. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Demons of the Punjab, one of the best episodes in that entire series, right? Was written by Vinay Patel.
No, like I say, I mean, I was really underimpressed. I mean,
but yeah, but I'm going to say this is the end of the podcast here because we've ranted and raved about stuff. I got in a rant about War of the Worlds in this podcast and horror movies and stuff. We went talk about loads of good horror movies. It's the Halloween special. Unfortunately,
actually quite annoyed because I think this could have worked. I think if they had reached out, and I know, like you say, we don't like this person now, but I do. Oh.
I still think Mark Gatiss should have been the showrunner instead of.
Have I gone again?
You are going back and forth. You're just like cutting out.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your microphone is peaking.
I've gone again. Sorry.
Your microphone is peaking, and you're turning into a robot every time it peaks.
Carry on.
I was saying Mark Gatiss should have been the goddamn showrunner.
Now you've gone.
No, I'm still here on the podcast. People can hear me. They just can't hear you. They can hear you.
I wasn't going to say Gatiss funny enough.
I know who you're going to say. You're going to say Neil Gaiman, but I have a bad feeling that if
a little bit better,
I can hear you. You're a bit better.
Yes, I hear.
But I will say Mark Gatiss for me Gatiss was supposed to be the fucking
I was going to say Josh.
Joss Whedon. Wasn't Peter Jackson supposed to have directed an episode? But anyway, I'll pull the podcast here because we're
3 seconds out.
we're having technical issues because Jack's internet is dying. So I'm going to say goodbye. Jax is going to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And then we're going to go. So